lot of buzz generating around Kyrie Irving to the Los Angeles Lakers, Russell Westbrook going to the Brooklyn Nets or some sort of team. But very likely, it looks like the odds of Kyrie coming to Lakers are extremely high. I mean, the sports books, the betting odds have just skyrocketed for the Lakers to land Kyrie as well as now win an NBA championship. Usually, Vegas is pretty spot on when it comes to that stuff. There's lots of murmurs, all the reports, all the speculation, but more so than anything, and the real reason it looks like something is brewing is now we got reports today that Kyrie Irving is out with calf soreness and Russell Westbrook is out with a non-COVID related illness. And so if that isn't a telling sign, I don't know what to tell you. Or I should preface this, Russell Westbrook is questionable with the non-COVID related illness. But I imagine he's probably not playing today. I imagine Kyrie's not playing today. The Lakers don't play again till Tuesday. Now, I still don't think that a trade gets done like tonight or tomorrow morning. You know, they're going to come back from the road trip and then they'll figure it all out. I think Monday morning would be the earliest in which the Lakers would get this trade done. I imagine that the Lakers would hopefully want to get Kyrie so that way they have him to go play against the Thunder. And, I mean, you want to get Kyrie at ASAP, right? Because the sooner you get Kyrie, the sooner you can kind of integrate him and he could fill in. Because a real concern is you're integrating a star who's used to playing a certain way, used to getting X amount of shots, used to, fitting in a certain style of play that now you need to have come to your team and fit in next to two other stars in LeBron James and Anthony Davis. The beauty is, though, is that with Kyrie Irving, you already have that built-in relationship, that built-in chemistry, that built-in dynamic between the two of them. So now it's just figuring out how does that translate with Anthony Davis, right? It worked extremely well with Kevin Love. So you would imagine that with Anthony Davis, it would work as well. LeBron is also just in a very different time in his career, right? LeBron, he after he gets the scoring title, I imagine he takes a real step back scoring-wise. I think he turns into that facilitator, that playmaker. I think he's going to end up being the guy that he's going to resort back to basically being the Magic version of LeBron James. Kind of like how we won the 2020 NBA championship where LeBron was essentially our point guard. Because if we trade Russell Westbrook, then you're the only real playmaker that the Lakers have. Dennis Schroeder's likely moving to the bench to play the Russell Westbrook role. And Kyrie is a incredible talent and scorer and can play make. He can get some assists, but not to the level of LeBron James. And somebody's going to have to take a bit of a back seat. Anthony Davis is the ultimate mismatch down low. So you imagine you're going to want him to eat. You're going to want him to feast. He's going to get his. Kyrie Irving, he's going to be your go-to scorer. You're going to have so many operations in the mid-range and, pick and pops, pick and rolls with Kyrie and LeBron, Kyrie and Davis. I mean, it's going to be terrifying. Like, good luck stopping this offense, stopping this team. And more importantly than anything, the Lakers would have a closer, which the Lakers absolutely need. The Lakers would probably be 50-2 right now if we just had a closer like a Kyrie Irving, just because that's been the big problem. The Lakers have been in every game and have been able to compete in every single game, but they just haven't been able to close out down the stretch, or, a game comes down to a shot or two and you don't have the floor spacing and you don't have that just natural shooter that can just go get you a bucket, operate in the mid-range or knock down the three ball, somebody that has that clutch gene. Kyrie has all of those things, right? Kyrie can knock it down from anywhere on the floor. He can generate his own buckets. He can generate for others. It's an absolute home run if the Lakers land Kyrie, which personally I think they do. I really don't see this as a coincidence that both Russell Westbrook and Kyrie Irving are both going to be out tonight, and the Lakers don't play till Tuesday. And, the Nets are probably unloading Kyrie. If the Nets really planned on keeping Kyrie and weren't planning on anything like, hey, no, we're gonna ride this out. We're gonna trust you're not gonna leave in the offseason, he'd be playing. The Nets really can't afford to be not having Katie and Kyrie, and it makes all the sense in the world. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's just going to be an even swap, Westbrook for Kyrie and some picks or something, right? It's very likely going to be a third team, whether it's the Jazz or the Spurs or the Hornets or whatever. likely those teams will get probably the first as well as Russell Westbrook's contract, and then the Brooklyn Nets will get like pieces, whether it's Vanderbilt, Beasley, and Mike Conley, something like that. And then now they get some pieces to hopefully give some production in place of Kyrie Irving, because that's what they're going to need, right? The Brooklyn Nets, they can't really tank. Although the real question is Kevin Durant. How is Kevin Durant going to want to stay? Is he going to decide to opt out? How is that going to unfold? That is definitely an interesting question. I don't see Kevin Durant leaving this season, right? I don't think we're too close to the trade deadline. I don't think he's going to ask out. And with injuries and everything, I think it'd be kind of tricky to find a trade for him. But who knows? You never know. But I wouldn't be surprised if in the offseason, Kevin Durant's like, all right, I'm gone. You get me out of here, and you get me out of here ASAP. Especially if the Nets, they get blown out in the first round or something. At some point, the Nets are probably going to have to hit the reset button here in the near future. And, you can make an argument now would be the best, because I don't think you'd get more for Kevin Durant than you would right now. I think you get more for him right now than you would in the offseason, this past offseason, and I think you'd get more for him this offseason than this offseason. But, it's the Nets. We've seen how they operate. They're going to try to hold on to Kevin Durant for, their dying lives, right? So very likely they get some pieces. Again, not saying it has to be Utah. Maybe it's Charlotte and like a Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward or something. But ultimately what I think it ends up landing on is the Lakers land Kyrie Irving and probably Joe Harris. Now, I would love to get some like other pieces, right? Like if we could get like Seth Curry or Royce O'Neal or something like that, that would be fantastic. But I think realistically, we're probably not going to be able to get any of those guys. And if you're the Lakers, last thing you want to do is play around, mess around to where you, for whatever reason, all of a sudden the Nets get upset and they send Kyrie elsewhere. And then, the whole Paul George situation, right? The Lakers didn't want to give up everything necessary to get Paul George. Paul George says, okay, well, clearly they didn't want me that bad, decides to re-sign, and then the Lakers end up losing out on Paul George. However you look at that in hindsight, maybe that was the best thing. Maybe it was, the worst thing. Maybe we'd have a couple more championships by now. But regardless, however you look at it, that was something that's happened. And it very likely could happen again if we play around, or the whole Kawhi Leonard situation, right? Where he gets traded to Toronto. So it becomes this, just get the job done. If it costs both first, if it costs some second, whatever it costs, do it. Because at that point, you're probably the best team in the league for the next several seasons. Even if you don't win this year, which is something you got to keep in mind. I know if we get Kyrie, a lot of people are going to look at it and go, bam, that's it. Championship this year. It's over. We're done. Maybe. But you got to keep in mind that, one, we only have after tonight, have 28 games left in the season, and we're still climbing an uphill battle. So the Lakers have to climb an uphill battle. If you get into the play-in, anything can happen, right? Especially if you're like the 9th or 10th seed, you have to win 2 straight games. And if any team just gets insanely hot, right, or if, let's say, this year Kyrie, LeBron, and AD are a little clunky, something like that, well then, that could be an issue as well. But the idea is it's not just about this season, it's about the future, right? It's about even if we fall short this season, now you have a full off season, a full training camp, and a full preseason to get it figured out, worked out, and now we're running to the races to try to get, back-to-back chips with LeBron James. Let's go get him number 5 and number 6. Let's do that. So that's something to keep in mind as well, because I know a lot of people are going to look at this and go, that's it, it's a lock, we're a contender. And I absolutely think that we are a contender. I absolutely think that we are one of the best teams in the league. But everything takes time. Everything has to kind of work itself out. Because we're in such a rough spot, although we are only 3 games out of 6th, it's going to take time for them to kind of mesh the way we need them to mesh. And can they get that done fast enough to where we're in the playoffs, we're the 5th or 6th seed. Good luck to every team. Good luck trying to beat us. I mean, that's just what it boils down to. And I do have faith that they can get it done. I do think the inherent sort of dynamic and relationship of Kyrie and LeBron James, I think they're just going to fit like butter again. It's going to be smooth. And then I think you're going to have the Anthony Davis. You just got to figure out how to incorporate that. But I think LeBron will be the one to take the back seat. I think LeBron gets the scoring record, and then he says, all right, let's go for the assist record. And he's just dishing out dimes to Kyrie and Anthony Davis like, he's prime Magic Johnson. Like, that's what I think is going to end up happening. That's my guess. But I do think that this is very interesting that all of a sudden Kyrie Irving and Russell Westbrook are both out. Like, if Kyrie was out and Russ was playing, okay, maybe it's nothing there. And maybe he does play. So maybe it is nothing there. But the idea that they even brought up that he's questionable at this time, it's just weird. And it's the non-COVID related illness. That's the one thing that everyone uses as an excuse to sit players. You heard it for LeBron, you've heard it for Lonnie, you've heard it for everybody. Let's give you a night or two off. Lakers don't play again until Tuesday. I think Monday morning at some point, or Monday at some point, I think Kyrie is probably a Laker. That's probably my guess. I don't necessarily think it happens tomorrow. Maybe it does. And if it does, I'm all for it. But I think most likely Monday, you start the fresh week. Hopefully they can get Kyrie to LA ready to go by the Thunder game. That's also when LeBron James is probably going to break the scoring title. If not against the Thunder, then the Bucks. And if Kyrie comes, I could see LeBron taking a back seat in that Thunder game, right? I could see LeBron just kind of letting Kyrie feast and eat, and then LeBron will feast and eat against the Bucks. I could absolutely see that happening because you could beat the Thunder with just Kyrie and Anthony Davis, and then LeBron just kind of chipping in and getting his he's going to get his 20 points regardless. That's just LeBron James. But him scoring 40 against the Thunder, I don't think he'll do if Kyrie's there. So I think it'll change the dynamic. Now you go into the Bucks game. You got a game under Kyrie's got a game under his belt, and now you try to go get that scoring title against the Milwaukee Bucks. You got the history, you got just everything that goes into that. So that's probably going to happen, and I imagine Kyrie's probably a Laker by the Thunder game is probably my guess. But those are my thoughts and opinions, and as always, I pass the question on you. Let me know yours down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think that this is odd? Do you think there's something here? Do you think there's not? However you feel, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comment section below.